Hey, brother.
Hey, sister, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you good. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I know you're still waiting for your equipment.
I know. Rookie moves.
Rookie moves. No, I think it's good. I think it's good that we just get started and make the mistakes that we're going to make early on. Like last week, we recorded an episode, but it was a hot mess listening back on it. Like, we talked for like an hour and a half. Our conversation was all over the place. It was supposed to be about birthdays because your birthday was last week. And we did not, looking at the timestamp, we did not actually start talking about birthdays until like 45 minutes into the conversation.
Oh, seriously?
Yes, because it was also like our first phone call since you moved to Singapore. So we were like catching up in general. And like, I don't know, cool that we recorded it, but I don't think it's actually going to make for that interesting listening. Because it was like very just like it's been 2 months, like what's going on, what's up. But I might pull, I mean, there's some useful stuff. I might pull something out of that recording, but this will be our official
clip.
What?
The throwback clips.
Yeah, throwback. But this will be our first official episode. So tell me, how was your birthday last week?
My birthday was awesome. Typically I get the birthday blues as a late 20s individual. I'm 28 now. My back is hurting more. I noticed that. But what Gab did, so my wife, Gabrielle, she booked us a stay at the Marina Bay Sands here in Singapore.
Wow,
which is
that's like the famous hotel in Singapore.
Yeah, it's like the hotel. Like it's, you ever seen Crazy Rich Asians?
Duh, several times.
Okay, so you know the wedding receptions, the theme that they had, the scene that they had?
Yes, with like those light up trees.
Yeah. So that's the gardens at the hotel.
Right.
So I'm a pool guy, and all I want to do is just hang out in the pool. I go to the pool at least twice a day, especially here in Singapore. It's so damn hot, and like you don't really run AC, so swimming is where it's at. So I was like, yeah, but I just want to hang out at the pool. So she's like, okay, cool. She booked us a room at the Marina Bay Sands to just hang out in their huge 57th story infinity pool overlooking all of Singapore. It was such a breathtaking scene. All the lights, the movement of the city, and the pool's huge. Like, so it's not even crowded. Not only that, but I attempted to like sneak into it a couple of times. But if you're not staying there, you have to use a QR code to get in. And if you're not staying there, they for sure like catch you and like just tell you to leave, or sometimes escort you out of the building. So
that's ballsy.
Yeah, I know. So in 2017,
because I've been. Yeah, I've been to Singapore. I was there for like 2 days with mom and dad. It was my graduation trip after I graduated from Georgetown. We landed in Singapore and then took a cruise from Singapore to Vietnam to Hong Kong to China. But honestly, the best part of that trip was Singapore. And like, it was the first 2 days. I mean, that trip was awesome. There was a lot of great things. Yeah. I loved the gardens by the bay. That was my absolute favorite. It felt like I was walking around in Pandora, like all these plants from all over the world. It was just so, it felt like Oz times Pandora, like this magic wonderland. And we did go to the hotel, Marina Bay Sands? Mm-hmm. Yeah. We went to the hotel and we went to the rooftop to the bar, but they totally separate the bar from the pool. Like you can't just go to the pool. Like we could kind of see it if you like craned your neck around the bar. I could see a bunch of people having the time of their fucking lives in this awesome ass pool. And I was so like, I couldn't be upset because we were still on the rooftop with an awesome view. It was sunset. We had great drinks. I had a Mai Tai. I remember that distinctly. It was so good. But at the same time, in the back of my mind, I was like, they totally did this on purpose. Like they gave us in the bar a view of the pool with like all these barriers being like, you can't actually come over here unless you pay like $700 a night for a hotel.
It was like $850.
Oh my gosh! So that was your birthday gift or part of your gift?
Birthday gift, but like that was the freaking move. Like, so we told them it was our birthday. They upgraded our room for free, which is awesome.
My gosh!
And then like when we got to our room, they had like a cake in there for me.
What?
That's a happy birthday. I was like, what?
What?
Yeah, I never experienced that before in a hotel. So I mean, for $850, like, I mean, damn, I would expect something like, legit ass service. And honestly, I would say we definitely got that there. It was amazing. Yeah. So we just spent the day swimming in the pool. But check this out. What? Speaking of sneaking in,
what'd you do?
I met these two ladies. I would say they're 50s.
Yeah.
And they're from the States.
Yeah.
And we just started talking to them. And they're fun. I was like, hey, so how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Getting to know them. And they're just like traveling around for their birthday, too. It was their birthday month. And I noticed the other lady wasn't swimming. So as I was getting up to go get a cocktail or go order a cocktail, I was like, hey, are you going to get in the pool or what? Like, come join us. And the other lady, Lynette, so Lynette was the person I was talking to. Lynette said, like, oh, I'll tell you later. I'll tell you about that later. And the woman that I asked didn't even respond. I was like, okay. So we get back in the pool. Yeah, we get back in the pool, and turns out those two ladies in their mid-50s snuck up there. So they successfully snuck into the pool, and I was completely like mind blown. I was like, how do you do that? I tried it twice already. I tried it in 2017, and then I tried it now, and like it didn't work. They like caught me right away. And she was like, you just gotta follow people in. Like you wait outside, and like you just kind of join a group, and you just like kind of like.
Are they from Singapore?
No, they live in California.
So had they done that before, or like?
No. They were dressed for the occasion because they're like, well, we just got up thinking we were just gonna walk around, and here we are in the pool, just hanging out. That's why she wasn't swimming.
Oh my god, I love these hoes. Just like I didn't have my swimsuit because I didn't think I'd actually get into this place.
Well, homegirl was in her bra and underwear.
Like bra and underwear.
It looked like a swimsuit. And I was just like, dude, fuck yeah. Like, that's what's up. Like, you are the epitome of what I want to be when I'm in my 50s.
They're in their 50s?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no fucks given.
Yeah, they're just freaking chilling. And so, yeah, we just hung out.
Oh, wait, sorry. Ground rule for the podcast. If we curse, it's going to have like an E on Spotify. It's going to be explicit. Are we okay with that? Or do we want a family-friendly show?
Let's try not to curse.
Try not to. Yeah, I've been trying not to, and it's so. I think growing up with three brothers, we all have the biggest potty mouths, and it's like, ingrained in our storytelling as well. But we can try.
That's also kind of embarrassing because, like, I feel like people who curse have a very limited vocabulary, and they just sound stupid, right? So
not necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, you don't, right? Like. It's just when people are like throwing like in arguments, when people are just like cussing in arguments, I immediately like, downplay them in my head. I'm like, I'm winning this argument.
Yeah, you have nothing else to say. You're just like,
like, you can go to your corner and have your little pouty fest, and then we can reorient the discussion and then like figure out a solution from there.
But that's like if you're angry, right?
Yeah, okay.
Like you're angry and it's like you have big feelings and it can be hard to articulate in the moment, so then you curse. Yeah. But I feel like cursing while storytelling is just spice. It's like it makes it a little more interesting.
It is spicy, yeah, I agree. So I have mixed feelings about it.
Yeah.
But I'll say like, it feels like everyday conversation and you're like angry, or if you're angry. Actually, no, I'm going to take it back. If you're angry and you're cussing, then I think you're in the wrong. I'm like, okay, relax. Like, tone it down.
Yeah, tone it down for sure.
Unless, like,
this is not even going to be a productive conversation.
Yeah. But back to my birthday, because I'm awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, it was awesome. We just hung out in the pool and relaxed. And then I wanted to have... We made reservations at the rooftop restaurant up there.
What? There's a restaurant? Wait, where's the restaurant?
Yeah, there's three restaurants. There's Lago, Spago, and C'est La Vie. I already tried all three of them. It's delicious.
What?
Yeah.
Are they on the very top floor with like the pool and the bar? Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, I didn't see that. Okay, cool.
So we made some friends out here in Singapore. Like we just moved out here like 2 months ago, and we're like slowly meeting people. And I'm not working right now, so it's a little harder for me to like interact with people because I don't have like that work environment interaction. But we made a couple friends, and we invited them to dinner. Like 2 weeks in advance. Okay. And they were like, yeah, like well, we're in. I was like, cool.
Wait, for your birthday? Like you said, this is my birthday dinner, special occasion?
Birthday dinner. I would like to celebrate with you guys, considering y'all like my new friends out here in Singapore. Okay. And they're like, yeah, that sounds great. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So I remind my friend Jen, and Jen, if you're listening to this, I love you, girl, and I know you had plans, and I know the plans you were doing were like planned out like 3 months in advance, like no harm, no foul, but I'm just an event, so...
Vent. What did Jen do?
I was like, Jen, we were getting cocktails. I was like, hey, so my birthday dinner's on Friday. Like, I'm really looking forward to it. Like, looking forward to you guys coming. Are you still coming? And she straight told me, she's like, I don't think so. And I was like...
Wait, when? When'd she say that?
This was like 3 days before my birthday.
No! Wait, why didn't she tell you, like, as soon as she knew? Wait, why did she agree to the plans if...
Her husband agreed, and he and her didn't communicate.
Fucking husbands. I see TikToks about this where, like, men in the couple will agree to something not knowing not knowing their social calendar.
Yeah, it's so freaking true, dude. So,
I'm sorry, though.
I'm a little tipsy, and she's like, no, we can't. And I was like, okay, like, why? And she's like, well, we booked reservations at this restaurant, like, months ago. It's, like, super exclusive, and we're really looking forward to it. And it's, like, the same time. And I was like, dude, like, it's my birthday dinner. Like, rebook that shit. You guys live here. Like, you can go there again. I kind of said it a little more, like, nicely than that. And
no, but you told her, like, this sucks.
Yeah, I told her, and she was just like, sorry, like, you know, have fun. So
no, come celebrate me, damn it.
Yeah, and like that kind of bummed me out, you know, because like friends out here really, and I'm like, I get birthday blues, so like I was like, damn, dude, like
looking forward to it.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, well, it's just dinner with me and Gab, which like, you know, I love that, but like, you know, we have dinner every day together, right? And
right, it's not like that.
So other people.
Wait, what's Jen's husband's name?
Jake.
See, it's Jake's fault, honestly.
It is Jake's fault.
I don't know why you opened up apologizing to Jen, because I think this is Jake's fault 100%.
So I told Gab that, and Gab's like, oh, okay. And she asked some of her work friends who I've met at a party when we first got here, who I really like vibe with, and all of them were like, yes, we're in.
Aww.
So like they come and we have a blast. Like we have a great dinner. They like got like a surprise cake for me, and like it was super fun.
That's so nice. You just met these people.
Yeah, and like one of the girls that we invited, her name is Anusa, super sweet woman. She texted Gab. She's like, hey, like does Daniel like reading? I want to get him a book for his birthday. And I think Gab came up to me. She's like, do you want a book? And I was like, I don't really read. I was like, also don't be rude. And then, long story short, Gab was like, you know, I'm just gonna tell her like, your presence alone is the gift. Like, you don't need to bring something. Okay. So after dinner, we were like all gonna go out, I guess. But I also wasn't really feeling it because I was like kind of like getting hungover from day drinking all day at the pool.
Yeah.
And we were gonna go drinking the next night at a hawker stall. And so I was like, you know what? Like, let's not. So we all kind of called it early night. And then
you like got started early that day.
Yeah. And then I lived at Gab. It was like 9 o'clock at night. I was like, I want to go night swimming. And she's like, okay, bet. So we went to the pool.
Yeah. That's right, because you have access to that awesome pool like while you're a guest at the hotel. Yeah. So I would make the most of that.
That's why we stayed there.
I would totally make the most of that.
So it was a wonderful like stay. You know?
What's the view like from up there during the day versus the night?
At night, it just, no pun intended, like it feels like the city's just lit up. Like all the lights are so pretty. All the skyscrapers have like their own little designs, cool light features, like split LED lights all throughout this tall, like 80-story skyscrapers. Like it's gorgeous, and so it's breathtaking.
I know you took pictures. Pretty sure you sent some.
Yeah, I'll send them too. But yeah, so we just had a blast. And the next day, we woke up, slept in a little bit, and that was my birthday. It was simple, sweet, and beautiful. I loved it.
Simple? I don't know. You went to like one of the greatest pools in the world.
Well, yeah, but it was like an extravagant like celebration. It was just like lounging in like the goochiest place.
Relax.
Yeah.
But like in the best place you could possibly spend the day.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so nice.
I love it. My Instagram story was just popping, and people were like, bro, fuck you. Like,
I love that too, because it's really on brand for you. It's like luxurious, but chilled out.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a blast. It was a good time.
That's awesome.
But speaking of birthdays.
Yes.
We have one coming up, kind of, right?
We have another birthday in the family. Tomorrow is Rosie's second gotcha day, which is like her birthday, but her gotcha day. The day I adopted my dog and brought her home. That's tomorrow. 2 years.
All right, so I know you got Rosie during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I don't know the story. Like, how did you get it?
The story is that I was very depressed in 2020. We talked a little bit about this last week. So the sum of it is that 2020 was very hard on me. I was going through a lot personally, and then also the pandemic on top of that. That summer was the peak of my TikTok addiction, which definitely contributed to the depression. I was chronically online and chronically depressed. So it was just not a good situation. And at some point in actually kind of that whole summer, I had been on the app Pet Finder, which is is kind of like a dating app for finding rescue animals. And you just like put your location, you set your radius, and then you put some specifications around age, breed, size, gender, and
okay, well, I gotta pause you. I'm envisioning
bunch of dogs
swiping right.
No, so you don't swipe.
Swiping right too. Like, no, this owner looks cool. No, that owner's room is messy. This owner, yeah, like that's what I'm envisioning right now.
No, it's not like, okay, maybe dating app is the wrong word because you don't swipe. It's just like you filter and then you see lists, and it's mostly shelters and pounds and foster organizations.
Yeah.
Some of these dogs are just numbers, and they have one picture and it's a group of them because it's a shelter that's super strapped and they have zero capacity to be posting their animals. Actually, usually the numbers were pounds, like city organized, city sponsored, whatever. But so lots of animals on there, and the breed functionality doesn't work that great because a lot of them are mixed. So like they're just guessing at the breeds. But I had been on that app all summer, not so casually looking at dogs, like very convinced that I was going to adopt a dog, but I was living with mom and dad, so part of it was that I had to convince them. Yeah, so it was a blast living with them. Like, of all the mental crises that I had, my parents were not contributing to it. They were the best, super supportive, really great to be around. And part of that is because they really respected me as an adult and my boundaries. And so it wasn't like I needed their permission, because they knew I was financially stable and that it's my life, like this would be my animal, I would be responsible for it. But it was more that I was living with them, and they live in a very nice condo with white furniture and nice things, and they were more like, we don't want a very energetic, rambunctious big animal like running around our stuff.
Yeah, like a one-rhino or something.
Totally. But the good news is that we were pretty aligned from the start, because I also didn't want a super rambunctious animal. I had anxiety. I was looking for somebody to be chilled out and level me out and calm me down. So I actually originally was going to get an old dog. I was going to get a senior dog, like 8+ years old, thinking they'd already be pretty old and relaxed. And I wanted it to be small because I knew I'd be traveling back and forth, at least in the near term, between San Antonio and DC. Since even at that time, I knew I was moving back to DC. I just didn't know when. So we were aligned on temperament and size. Like, I wanted it to be small. I wanted it to be calm. And they were like, okay, sounds good. Dad, though, needed a little more convincing, because even though we had those initial conversations, which led me to like being on this app, looking at animals, every time I would show him a dog that I like, he'd always give me all these random ass excuses for why it wouldn't be the right dog. I was like, you wouldn't even met this dog. What are you talking about? He's like, no, look at that face. You don't want that. No, it's ugly. It's this, it's that. And I was like, what is going on here? Like, why are you being like this? And he goes, I just don't think, maybe it's just not the right time, blah, blah, blah. So he would go back and forth on me, and that was really confusing and frustrating. And finally, I had to have this deep one-on-one with him, really explain that this wasn't like an impulse thing. I want a little, toy. It was like, I need support in the form of an animal. Animals are healing. I am at a real low in my life right now. And I think it'd be really good for me to have a routine where I am taking care of something, where I can wake up in the morning. I have a reason to get out of the bed. I go and I feed my dog, I walk my dog, I take care of this being all day long, and I just think it'd be really grounding and really healing. And right now I sound more articulate, right? At that point I was like crying and not really able to and so he was like kind of unsure where I was coming from, but the more we talked about it, the more he got on board. When I talked to mom about it, she was the one who was like, oh, he's just giving you a hard time because he knows if you get a dog, he's going to fall in love with the dog, and then you're going to
move. For sure. All freaking dads do.
Yeah. So that was actually at the root of his concerns. And sure enough, that's what happened. I mean, he did fall in love with Rosie, and I got her in August. I left. Actually, I was there for another year and a half almost. So like he had plenty of time with her, but by the time I left, they had bonded, so that was time for him.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a really long-winded way of saying that I found Rosie on an app, and she was from a foster group, and that foster group was in Beeville, which is like 2.5 hours outside of San Antonio. I know.
Beeville.
Yeah, I set the radius for like 100 miles. I was like, I will drive wherever for my animals. So we met halfway through Beeville in San Antonio, and this lady actually, she had this policy that she didn't let people take dogs home the day they met them. She's like, you can meet the dog, and then I want you to wait at least a week before you take the dog home. And that was just her way of making sure that it wasn't an impulse decision.
Yeah.
So drove out there. We meet like at a gas station in between San Antonio and Beeville, and I meet Rosie, and she is this like very, very sweet, sort of demure, like mild dog, kind of shy, but not with me, like with, she loves girls, she loves women. So with me, she was like pretty open. She like immediately rolls over, lays down, belly rubs.
Aww.
And then I walk her around the field near the gas station, and my dad is like talking to the lady. Her name is Lisa, I think. I should remember that. But so I'm hanging out with Rosie, and she's just so sweet. And I just, yeah, within like 5 minutes, I was like, pretty sure this is my dog. Like, pretty sure I got to take her home. And I had already named her Rosie. She was Rosebud. That was her name on Pet Finder. And I was already calling Rosie from the first moment I showed her pictures to Dad. I was like, Rosie for short, right? And he's like, oh yeah. And then we always called her Rosie. And then I ended up just fully naming her Rosie after I learned that Rosebud is a sexual act that has its own Urban Dictionary definition that I won't go into details on. But
really?
Yeah. So after I got Rosie and I posted about her on Instagram, somebody
Rosebud on Urban Dictionary. Right?
I didn't do it. One of my coworkers drunk texted me and was like, I'm kind of drunk right now. I don't think I'd tell you this normally, but like, you might want to Google Rosebud before you. Don't look it up. Are you looking it up?
Yeah, I'm looking it up. What the? I'm like curious now.
Okay, yeah.
Rosebud.
Don't read it out.
Gnarly.
I know.
Yeah, that's disgusting. Yeah, checks out. I would not name my dog Rosebud after looking it up on Urban Dictionary.
I know. So this, my coworker gave me a heads up and was like, maybe before you settle on that name, you should. And I was like, holy shit, you're right. It's just Rosie now. That's it.
Oh my God.
Okay. Yeah, but so I see Rosie, I meet her. I could not stop thinking about her Saturday, Sunday, Monday. On Tuesday, I text the foster lady and I'm like, hey, I know you said I have to wait a week, but like my mind is set. I'm ready. I'm responsible. I had filled out a long ass application. She asked a lot of questions. This lady really does her due diligence. I mean, it seems like a one-woman foster situation, but she has, I would say, probably dozens of animals in her care at one time. Like, she is the only foster org in Beeville, which I know sounds like a small town, but Texas is a big place. She gets a lot of dogs coming through, and she's saving dogs from kill shelters, right? Because in Texas, in most southern states, publicly funded shelters are kill shelters because there are just so many stray animals in the southern states because of the weather. They don't die during freezes, right? Actually, most shelters in the United States, like in the northern states, a lot of times they don't have kill shelters because they can afford not to, because they have more space, and they actually like bus animals from the south north to like get more animals to more places. Yeah, because we just have so many in the south. So
in Singapore, they call stray animals Singapore specials.
Why?
Because there's so many of them, and they get abandoned by their expat owners who leave the country because it's so expensive to fly them out.
What?
Yeah, it's so expensive to fly your dogs out. It's like $7 to 10 grand, depending on size, of like flying your dog out of this country. And it's so expensive that people just leave them. And like you'll see, I see.
Okay, wait. So then, if there are so many nice dogs like on the streets,
so the nice dogs, the ones that get left, usually get like, you know, their way done with by other dogs, right? So they start reproducing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, more stray, muddy kind of dogs.
Yeah,
then,
because
like, the little designer ones like die, like because they're, you know,
fragile.
Living in sky rises in Singapore and they don't know how to fend for themselves. And
this is so sad.
It's so sad. I thought about getting a Singapore special, but I wanted my first dog to be like a dog that I, like, you know, can have as a puppy and like really raise it as my own, and have it because I have allergies.
Yeah. There are maybe 3 reasons I can think of to validate buying from a breeder, and which is not a lot. Yes, you did.
No, I bought from a dealer. It's different.
I don't buy this story at all.
It's not a breeder. It's a dealer. They import dogs all around the world. So Ponyo's from Ireland. He's an Irish boy.
So there's a stray puppy. I mean, I could scorch you right now on the ethics of this decision, but I'm gonna be nice and not. We're talking about Rosie. I think I finished the story. I couldn't wait a week. I brought her home as soon as possible, and she's been the love of my life ever since. And she has really grown out of her shell. She was kind of shy when I first got her around men. She was very afraid of men.
She was a bitch to me. She
didn't bark. She would like run away and growl sometimes.
Yeah, it was just surprising. She doesn't bark, but she like shivers so much to the point where I think she's gonna poop herself.
Yeah. She shakes. Yeah,
He
yeah,
curls
yeah.
himself in a ball.
She'll bark at the sound of the doorbell, right? So when you would come over, she'd hear the doorbell, she'd bark, and then when she'd see it was you, she'd like run away. And yeah.
Yeah. But now that's not the case. She actually likes me now.
Now it's not the case because two things. One, we've been doing a lot of obedience training. She's actually now my certified psychological service animal. She's trained to support me in actual tasks for my disabilities, for mental illnesses, which is awesome. But on top of that training, it's just general confidence building. So she's just a much more secure dog now, a lot more sure in herself. She trusts me. She trusts that anywhere we go, anywhere situation that I put her in, she should be fine and safe.
Yeah.
The second thing is just more exposure to you. One of the big things I learned in training is that a lot like people, to have your dogs get over fears, you have to expose them to it and they need to work through it themselves. So part of the training was like she's afraid of the sound of refrigerators, like in a grocery store. So we would go to Walmart and stand in the freezer aisles, it was just like constant refrigeration all around her. And I would like drop the leash, tell her to sit, walk away and watch her like trembling for her life, just like sitting next, not because she's cold, but because she's scared, and then wait. And sure enough, like after some time goes by, they like realize that it's okay, that, and then the more you do it, she remembers that she didn't die the last time, so it's fine.
Yeah.
And now I take her everywhere and she really only shakes if it's like really loud, like a busy street corner with like buses, cars, tons of people, music, people screaming in mics. Or if we're like in a new place. But then the second time we go to that place, she instantly recognizes it and is fine.
Can you explain her first interaction with Snow?
Oh yeah. Well,
so cute.
Well, I don't know which instance are you talking about, in DC or like the blizzard in Texas?
No, in DC.
Her first interaction was the winter storm in San Antonio.
Did she like touch Snow though?
Yes. Dang, did you see the pictures? San Antonio, like Texas grid shut down.
I was deployed. I don't know what was going on.
Oh, yo, you were gone. Okay.
U.S. Navy.
So to catch you up, in February around Valentine's Day in 2021.
Yeah, I was gone.
Because of climate change, the polar vortex dipped very low. It's like this air pattern that normally pushes cold air around the northern states, and that's why they get crazy snowstorms. But it dipped really low, and it was actually pretty warm in Alaska and freezing temperatures in the southern states, and we got a historic winter storm. It's not technically a blizzard, but it was a week of a bunch of snow, and it was a bunch of ice. Like everything froze, and our streets became hazardous, and the power was knocked out, and water was getting knocked out because pipes were freezing. So it was a state of emergency officially. People died. I think like 300 some people died over the course of 3 weeks. Yes, because I think it was mostly car accidents, because we don't have any infrastructure in Texas to deal with freezing ice on the roads, right? Like we don't have the big snow plows or a bunch of salt in reserves. And like imagine all the highway system in Texas, right? We've got expansive roads. No way we could have had enough salt to cover all of it. So just to do groceries, it was like treacherous. There were a bunch of car accidents. There was a lot of carbon monoxide poisoning because people were using their gas stoves for warmth.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. I remember being told that grocery stores, food was spoiling. They were just giving food out for free. Like, yeah, it was very dramatic. And
all right, so got it. Snowstorm, San Antonio. It sucked. Rosie's interaction.
But the first couple days, the first day of snow, before we realized it was actually going to be really, really bad, Rosie got to see snow. I have video of it. She's just walking around. She just didn't really know what to do with it at first, but she also really needed to pee. So I was like telling her to keep going, and then she walked around some more and did her thing. And then by like the third day, I think she was running around in it a little bit. She's a small dog, and not a snow dog. She's got Chihuahua in her. So I don't think that she was feeling like this is her element, but I think she thought it was fun. I need to find videos. I'm not sure if she was running around. And then in DC, when it snowed once. Like, I moved here in February. It snowed like briefly in March. We always get like one random snow day in March. And I do have a video of her with like the little snowflakes just falling. And she's just like over it. It was like really cold and she's like not happy.
That's funny.
I want to hear about Ponyo. I want to hear about
Little P?
Little P? Is it Lil P?
Little is Ponyo, but I call him Little P when I don't want him to know I'm talking about him.
Oh, I see. But do you say little or Lil?
Lil Peep.
Yeah. Like
Like
okay.
Lil Wayne, or Lil Peep.
I literally was just gonna say like Lil Wayne. You love Lil Wayne.
So Ponyo. I've wanted a dog forever, but
Yes.
because I was in the Navy and so was my wife, it was hard for us to get a dog. I didn't want to be that owner that just like puts them to crate all the time and only has them for like their personal benefit and well-being, and like their dog's like suffering when they're not there.
Yeah.
Gab and I worked super long hours, so like it just wasn't gonna be fair. So I was transitioning out of the Navy, and I was like, cool, like this is the time to get a dog. I plan on just kind of relaxing a little bit and just like, enjoying myself before I kind of get back into the workforce. And so we were going to get a Bernedoodle out of San Diego. And
that's right, I forgot.
But then we got the notification that we're moving to Singapore. So I was like, okay, cool. We got to figure out the dog situation. So at the time, I was looking to Singapore's quarantine rules for like bringing pets in, importing pets, and you have to quarantine them for like 2 months. At the time, not anymore. You have to quarantine the pets for 2 months. So then I put myself in my future dog's head. I was like, all right, I'm gonna be 6 months old by that point, and then I'm gonna go to 2 month quarantine without seeing any familiar face in a facility that I'm not familiar with, in a foreign country, like no visitation whatsoever. Like it's gonna be traumatizing. Like it would be traumatizing for the dog to experience that. A puppy, at least. Maybe an older dog could probably handle it. So I came to the hard conclusion. I was like, you know what, this is not the right decision. I told the breeder like my hesitation, and she was like, hey, like I very much respect your decision, and I actually agree with you. Like, I don't think it would be good for the puppy to be quarantined under those circumstances, and I think it's a very, like, mature decision for you to, like, come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
And I was, like, really bummed out about it. I was like, damn, dude, I no shit was prepping for 2 years to get this dog. Like, I was planning my resignation out of the Navy around this dog. So it was a bummer. So I was like, kind of sad about it. And then Gab was like, maybe in Singapore we can get a dog. And I was like, I want a Bernedoodle, but like I don't want a Bernedoodle in Singapore because it's so hot, and it's just like mean for this mountainous dog to be like in this heat and humidity all the time. So kind of canned the situation. Fast forward, we moved to Singapore. I was right about the heat and humidity for sure.
Yeah.
And Gab just came back from work one day. She's like, hey, like we should get a dog. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah. You're alone like all day at home, and I think it would be good for you to have a dog. She was like refraining from saying like it would give you purpose, but like she was kind of alluding to that a little bit, which like I didn't take it the wrong way because like she was absolutely right. Aww. And I was like, okay, like yeah, like I want to do that. We looked at Instagram. We found these people called Top Dogs SG. Their Instagram is cute. They ethically import breeded dogs that come from ethical backgrounds. That's what they say. Like, you never really know, but their website seemed pretty legit, and the reviews were awesome and phenomenal. I was a little hesitant. Gab was a little more like, let's do it. So then breed. We're like, okay, what kind of breed do we want? I am lazy. I'm a lazy individual. You put me outside. You put me outside for 15 minutes, especially in this heat and humidity, I am dead. I'm like, I gotta be inside.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
Like, you work hard when you need to, but your resting state is not.
Work is completely different. All right, work. I'll get the job done. If I have to grind to like 2300, 11 p.m. like I will do that.
Totally. I mean, you wake up at 6 a.m. every day. I wouldn't say that's lazy.
Yeah, I still wake up every day at 6 a.m. and make breakfast for the wife before she goes to work and all that.
That's really lovely. But like when you can choose, you're not actively trying to be super physically running 10 miles a day.
My natural habitat, I'm a lazy homebody individual.
God, me too.
What breed is that? King Charles Spaniel.
Yeah.
They're lap dogs. They were bred to be lap dogs.
Yeah.
The
They're the king's dogs. They're like bred for royalty to just like sit.
But I love poodles. I love like the mixing poodles. And I discovered a Cavapoo. I don't know.
Yeah, you can mix anything.
Yeah, I discovered that, right? I was like, Cavapoo? I was like, what the fuck? Like, my personality, I love the way they look. Except Cavapoos, I think, look a little too teddy bear-like in their face.
Yeah.
Like, the poodle takes over. Thankfully, Ponyo has a King Charles Spaniel face, and I freaking love it because he looks like a dog instead of like a little teddy bear.
Yeah, I see.
So anyways, actually, I'm going to bring this guy up. I'm talking about him.
Yeah, where is he? Ponyo. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I go to he's sleepy.
I
go
know.
to the shelter not at the shelter, but the store or whatever.
Please,
and
sleeping.
We asked to go see Cavapoos. They had 2 of them, and at the time his name was Hoppy because whenever he brings his food, he jumps like high. He's just jumping in excitement, just hopping around whenever he sees food.
Oh my god!
So we opened the crate and we look at Hoshi, which was the other Cavapoo. And Hoshi was like super cute. I loved Hoshi, but Hoshi kind of seemed a little dumb, which was like just not there. And I was like, I don't want a dumb dog. I want like a smart dog, So
well, I have opinions on that, but continue.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. So we played with Hoppy at the time, now Ponyo, and he immediately just like ran to me and like curled in my lap and like fell asleep. And I was like, oh shit, okay. And I woke him up. I was like, well, I want to play with this dude if I want to, make sure I want to have this dog. And we hit it off. It was so cute. So we left after seeing the dogs. And then after about a week, I was like, yo, like, let's send. Like, let's do this. Like, I want that dog. And it was like kind of a stressful situation because the person texted me, was like, hey, I'm just letting you know we're having someone come see Cavapoos today. And we only have 2 of them. And you didn't put any reservation deposit down or anything like that. So, like, I'm just letting you know, like, if they do, like, he's going to be gone. And Cavapoo is one of the most popular breeds out here in Singapore, apparently. I was, like, stressed out, and I was like, shit, okay, like, let's do this. Like, let's do it. I don't know if it was a tactic. If it was, great. But, like, the other Cavapoo is gone now. So, like, I think it was pretty legit. So then it came to wiring the money. We don't have an international Singaporean bank. And so wiring money from a U.S. bank to like them was the most complicated procedure. It does not need to be that complicated. Not in 2022. After like 20 phone calls later to the U.S., making our international charges insane, we eventually got the wire through, reserved him, and now he's ours. Little Ponyo. He's a sleepy boy. Look at him. He's so cute.
I'm just so happy for you to finally have a dog because I remember when you were having a really tough time in the later years of your Navy career, and I mean, you like submitted your paperwork to leave like 2 years in advance. You were ready to go.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing you talk after one of your deployments, either your second to last one or your last one, talking about how much you just missed being stable in a place and that you just really wanted to settle down in a city. I think at the time you wanted to be in Texas, but it was more the prospect of like not having to leave once you settled down, like constantly leaving for months at a time. So now you've settled down in Singapore for the time being, but you wanted to settle and just have a dog and hang out with your best friend and do things with your dog and not have to leave your dog. And I remember it just sounded like you were really craving stability.
Yeah.
And now I look at you and it sounds like, you've found this awesome apartment in Singapore. You have just purchased 2 monitors for your gaming setup. It sounds like you're very settled. And now you have your new best friend.
Yeah, everything's really good right now. And I love this dude. He's so cute. Do you have a collar for Rosie?
Yeah.
Is it just with her name on it and stuff?
It's got her name on one side and my number and Dad's number on the other side. Because I mostly bought it for if I'm going to take her out. She doesn't wear it like all the time. Like it's not on her right now because I just feel like it must get annoying after a while. Like I wouldn't want to wear
I was thinking that.
Like a thick necklace all the time. But I buy it if like we're going to go to the park and I know I'm going to let her off leash or something like that. But also I'm thinking about how if I'm ever doing a short trip and I want to leave her with Mom and Dad, I want her to have her collar on since like, I don't know, whatever. So that's why I put Dad's number on there. And he thought that was so sweet because I think he felt like, like.
No, I got a QR code for his.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So check it out. Boom.
What comes up when you scan the code? Like all his stuff?
His name, pictures of him, and then pictures of me and Gab holding him.
Aww.
His name, our address, our phone numbers, and I get an email whenever it gets scanned, and it drops a pin at the exact location it got scanned.
Wow.
Yeah, so I can like.
That's
then,
interesting.
And then
I wonder.
It has the
sounds...
phone feature, like so. Whatever phone scans it, it will send me the phone's address, I guess.
Like IP address really or some like serial code?
The serial code. So if I really needed to like look into it, I can like use that information to like find out who owns the phone.
This sounds like extra precautions because you have a fancy dog and somebody might just steal him.
Yeah, I didn't realize it until like about like a couple days ago that he's actually like low key a designer dog.
He is a designer dog. I told you that when you first sent me pictures of him. I was like, wow, so you really are. After all my rants about the importance of rescuing.
He's an F1. Yeah, you're an F1 buddy. Yeah.
Are you going to neuter him?
No, I want his balls to be flying free.
Daniel, after you were just telling me about the stray animal population in Singapore.
Yeah, but I don't want him to do anything crazy. Although there's this one Cavapoo in our complex, and he's 5 months old. Like, he's a little puppy. He met her, and
did he start humping her?
100%. Went behind, was like, do. And I was like, oh, no.
Daniel, that's what I'm saying. Like, you need to neuter him. You don't want any puppies.
Yeah, actually, our vet suggested to neuter him. I don't really want to, but we might. I don't know. We'll see.
Daniel, as a public figure now, because you are on a public platform, you have an example to set now, and everybody should neuter their animals. I really don't think there is any case really to be made about breeding. We are just overwhelmed with millions of animals at this point. People who breed their dogs, first of all, if you are actually going to be a breeder, it's not something that you just like casually do and you're like, oh, my dog has a certificate, let me breed them. I know some people buy their dogs as an investment because they're like, if I get puppies out of this with their breed specifications, I can sell each one for a few thousand a pop, and it's like now it's like an investment. I feel like that is so. I need to like watch my words because I know we have like family friends who have done this, but I think there's a reason why they don't do it anymore. They tried it, and it's actually so much work.
Yeah, for sure. And I have no desire ever to get to like the dog breeding business.
Yeah, so snip his.
It's pretty cutthroat, really.
Snip his balls.
Hear that, Ponyo? Your auntie wants you to snip.
I think there's some case to be made about how it's like it protects against cancer or something too. Ask your vet why they recommended it. I'd be curious because I think there's like a health benefit. Maybe it might just be female dogs, but
he recommended it because he's like, "Do you want your dog to like have babies?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Then you need to neuter him." He's like, "Homeboy can just like get 3 pumps in and like pregnated." I'm like,
right.
What?
Yeah, and like, I mean, if you're going to let him loose in a dog park, it's just not a risk.
Yeah. One thing I'm pretty thankful about is that we live in one of the most dog-friendly neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And it's so clutch because I can take him everywhere I go.
Have you been able to socialize him? Is he like meeting other dogs? Yeah.
Yeah, he meets a lot of dogs, and we have a little like child playground right here, right outside of our complex.
Yeah.
And he's always like meeting little kids. He's actually scared of little kids.
You know, Rosie is a little kind of... She like kind of tenses up around little kids. I wouldn't say she's scared, but I think there's something about little kids. They're very unpredictable and they make loud sounds that can like set a dog.
Little kids, Ponyo has really opened my eyes to the responsibility of raising like another like living creature.
Oh, 100%.
You know?
Oh, totally.
And a little child, like, I don't want to pump the brakes on that for like a fat minute. And I know mom and dad are like, "What are you talking about? Like, make babies now." I was like, like, I'm still a kid myself. Like, and I'm just like, I wake up every day at 3 a.m, take this guy out, and I take him out at 6. Like, it's so
Daniel,
early.
this is not what I wanted to hear. I want you to have kids soon because then it'll like relieve pressure off of me to have kids soon.
Yeah, but like, I don't think mom and dad are gonna listen to this. But honestly, not likely right now.
It's not happening. Sure. Well, I can imagine as well. It'd be really tough to have kids like in Singapore. Like, how long is Gabby's contract?
We're here for 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
You might as well enjoy your time as a couple without dependents. I mean, you have an animal, but like children, a child. I think it would just suck like having to deal with that without your family close by.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the pregnancy and all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But are you saying it's like now more than 2 years? Like,
yes.
So you're saying like, oh, like you're gonna wait like 10 years?
Maybe like 10 years, yeah.
Oh
maybe.
My God, no!
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you. Like,
this
I don't
is
really
so stressful. Oh my
but
God.
It was funny, like,
I'm only stressed because now this means that like there's more pressure on me.
So yeah, but first you need to find a boyfriend, dude. But
okay, but it's also in these days like I don't actually need a husband to have a child. Like I could just go to a sperm bank.
Yeah, but do you
obviously that sounds kind of lonely. I'd rather find someone, but Ann Perkins from Parks and Rec inspired me a little bit.
by yourself, go through your pregnancy. But that's shitty, dude. Like,
I would not be raising my child by myself. I am super in favor of multi-generational households, so I would move in with mom and dad or buy a house and they would move in with me. Yeah, no, for real. No, for real.
Girl, stop mooching.
The way I wouldn't mooch. I mean, I'm going to have my own income, but like, I'm just saying. So, okay, I say all that. This is like a lot of logical steps have been made for me to reach this point. So you're kind of jumping in at like at the end, but I have been really stressed about my like timelines in my life because I have all these big career ambitions and they don't really align with having a kid and being a young mom. If I want to be a young mom, I got to have a kid like when I'm younger than 30, younger than 35, right?
Yeah.
But the way like my career is charting out and the stuff that I want to do, it feels like I'm actually not going to be ready to have a kid until late 30s, early 40s. And yeah, I won't go into like all the details now, but that stresses me out for a number of reasons, mostly because mom, who had me at 42, she's the one who's like, she's not like pressuring me. No, she had me at 42. So that's technically a geriatric pregnancy. Like I think after 40, it's called geriatric because doctors like don't advise it because you can get all these medical health conditions.
Yeah.
But the main reason why mom is like a little bit like, she doesn't regret obviously, but she said that it was very, very challenging having teenagers while she was going through menopause. And the timing was such that she had really moody teenagers while she was going through menopause, and it was like hormones were raging on both ends, and it made for just a really big challenge for her. And she was like, that is probably the only reason why I would advise having kids younger.
Yeah.
If only you can like time your menopause to be when they are out of the house or like getting out of the house, which I think is fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, it makes complete sense, honestly.
The other reason, though, for me, the more important reason is that I really want mom and dad to be part of my kids' lives. So, like, the longer I wait, the older they get. That is, like, the biggest.
That's true.
That's the biggest reason.
So true.
And because mom so desperately wants grandchildren, like, I want her to be able to enjoy her grandchildren and still be, like, mobile and active enough to hang out with them and keep up with them.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. She is going to be active and mobile for a long time, but she is already having some joint issues. She doesn't have any chronic illnesses. She's very healthy. The way she described it, she's like, I'm just getting old. I'm almost 70. I have mechanical problems at this point. It's like cartilage in my joints and arthritis. And living with them for 2 years, it was very illuminating for me, just kind of being so close to our parents and seeing them day in, day out. And I don't know, I'm just very aware that they are aging.
Reminds me of the thing that goes, POV, you age to 20 years old and you realize your parents have two. They age 20 more years as well. And then shows like photos of them older when they were like biased when they had like their child, when they were a baby.
Yeah.
And that always got me. I was like, damn, like, you're right. Like our parents age with us. That's insane.
Yeah, isn't that wild? And like now we've been out of the house for 10 years.
Yeah.
And like they've aged in that time as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel pressure to have kids sooner rather than later. But I was thinking like one way to relieve this is if Daniel has kids, just to give mom the satisfaction of more grandkids. But now you're telling me.
Kids are just so...
Obviously, they're a lot of work. They're a big responsibility.
They're so annoying. Like, whenever I walk Ponyo and like little kids are screaming at the playground, and they're like 6 and 8 years old. Like, so that's a lot of years of like just bullshit you gotta deal with. And like it literally just has like a sharp pain that just pierces through my head. And I'm like, oh my god, please stop talking right now. Like, why are you yelling? There's no reason to yell. Like your friends are right there. Like you can talk to them inside voice. Mm-hmm. And
it's really curious how the reason why you don't want kids is because of the noise. And for me, I'm thinking the pressure to raise a responsible citizen who will continue to be responsible for their 80 plus year lifespan. That's what I'm thinking about. Like Rosie only has to be responsible for 15 years, 20 max.
Yeah. Sure, like responsible citizen, got it. I just don't want like 18 years of my life to like go down the drain and like then just suck out all my energy.
This is so sad for your future children if they listen to
this. If they do listen to this, what's up?
Okay.
And,
first of all, I showed you one of my favorite movies of all time, About Time, and I thought that would have given you a really nice outlook on children, because at least in the end, it's like enjoying all the little moments of life
You know
and
who's changed
joy.
my perspective about children?
Who?
Ponyo.
Yeah.
Ponyo, because he wakes me up, and I'm like so tired. And, like,
That part, oh yeah.
Like I can't sleep in. I sleep in, like my sleep in is like 7:30 in the morning. That's me sleeping in, right?
Yeah.
And like, you know, but when I wake up at 3 in the morning, and then 5 in the morning, and then at 6.
Okay, but that's not going to last long. That's like just because he's a puppy needs to pee, right?
Yes, but a kid will last that long. A kid will be like for like years, like I can't do anything. I can't even hold my head up. It was like,
Wait, no, I thought it was like the first year, and then they get their shit together and they sleep through the night, right? I don't know.
Ponyo was like 4 months. Like,
Well, it's also like depending on how many kids you have, right? Like then it's
exactly. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want one kid. Like only children. You know, if you're an only child, like good for
my
you. I
heart
guess.
goes out
Well,
to you. No,
yeah,
my heart goes out to them.
Like, but like that sucks.
I feel bad.
I like having my siblings. I like
Yeah.
having friends too. Like,
Oh, you did? You liked having siblings?
Farting in your face. That was fun. I loved like farting in your face and suffocating you with a pill. Like I
That is
enjoyed
not
it.
fun.
That
You can't
brought me-
just casually bring up my trauma.
But like, if you're an only child, what are you gonna do? Like, yeah, you want to play?
Seems lonely.
Okay,
Seems lonely.
Mom, you want to play? No, I got a pedicure. It's just like, come on.
I feel really bad for only
if
children.
If we're gonna have children, we gotta have at least, I would say 3.
Yeah, Gabby wants a lot of kids too. Like she comes from a big family.
Yeah, she wants a fleet of children.
She wants like a
8.
brood.
Yeah, and I'm like,
That's the Catholic in her.
I was like, can you like pause on that maybe? So, you know, fat TBD on that. But I don't
Wait,
know.
how does Gabby feel about your 10-year plan? Have you
She's
talked
very
about
career
this?
driven, right? So she's
Yeah.
very career driven.
But if she wants 8
on her
kids, she
career.
can't wait 10 more years to start.
No, right. But like, she wants to explore the option of like freezing eggs.
Yeah.
Like now. You
Yeah.
know, freezing her eggs now.
She should do
that's
that now.
expensive. Thankfully, she's like working with like military policy.
It's only going to get more expensive. Oh, I've heard about this. Her activism.
Yeah, so she's working with like the military policy, like talking to like the like admirals and generals that she needs to be talking to.
Yeah, high ups.
Because the TRICARE, which is the military medical, they will pay to like freeze your sperm.
Right.
You know, it's like $100 a year.
Yeah.
But eggs, they don't do that. Like,
Yeah.
no.
It's a really
And
intensive
so like
process.
So the leadership's like, why are all the women getting out of the Navy so young? It's like, hello, they need to start a family. They want to start a family, and like the military is not conducive to do that. That's
Yeah.
why men stay in and women don't, because like they can't take it. If they get pregnant and take a 9-month break, it like, jeopardizes their career path,
Right.
like significantly.
Yeah.
I've only met one individual. Her name is Kelly Lewis, Commander Lewis, who is actually she's so inspirational, and she pumped through her pregnancy, like planned it perfectly while she was like doing her like military schools, which was in her normal pipeline, and she didn't miss a beat in her pipeline as she's raising a kid. And it's like,
Wow.
I'm like, dude, shout out! She didn't even take like maternal leave because she didn't want to like fall behind her peers, and like she's definitely like ahead of her peers now, but she's an anomaly, you know. Like
That's also such a sacrifice.
individual. She's
Yeah.
a go-getter. I'm not saying like other girls aren't go-getters. I'm saying like it's just
No, but it's a huge sacrifice.
that's a huge sacrifice. So Gab is she gets where I'm coming from, but she's also like, you know, we're gonna have this conversation like towards the end of our Singapore run, and then like we'll really reconvene then.
Yeah.
She's like, I understand what you're saying, but like, you know, I'm only gonna be young for so long. I was like, okay, retweet. So she's not like, you know,
Retweet.
like we didn't get like
Yeah, that's another thing too. Like having like back pain and stuff, like while you're trying to.
Yeah, like shit, girl, I have that right now. You
I know.
But carrying this little nugget around. Gab's supportive in like my perspective, but she's like also like, let's reconvene in 2 years. And I was like, got it. Like, all right, if she got pregnant right now, okay, I want to be a dad. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
We're gonna rock and roll. We'll freaking send it.
Yeah.
But I personally don't want to actively plan like right now, and I
Yeah.
think she doesn't either actively right now. Actually, I know she doesn't actively right now. She wants to like really focus on her career,
Right.
and then have that conversation when she's in her late 20s.
Can you shed any more light on the activism that she's doing in the Navy, or is it like top secret?
No, that's not secret. She presented a paper done by a student at the Naval Postgraduate School. And this paper focuses on retention in the military, specifically
Right.
for women. It explains, like, through all this data, like, why women are getting out. And it all comes down to they want to have a family. And the option to freeze your eggs can run anywhere between 20 to 35 grand. Like, it's expensive. Like, people don't have that money laying around. People have to make a decision. get out, have a family for the rest of my life, and enjoy my next 20 years, like having children, or stay in this career where I possibly can like excel and I possibly enjoy it and I possibly have a good time. Like, I don't know, right?
All the while unsure how long their fertility will last if they can't freeze eggs.
So they choose the latter, you know?
Yeah.
And so Gab just presented that thesis done by someone else to the appropriate personnel, so like the Secretary of the Navy and the corresponding like admirals and generals who are in that policy making of it. And they're mind blown because they're like, that makes sense.
Wow.
If we can freeze their eggs, like it costs $20,000 to do it, and we can keep people that we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in training on to stay and serve longer.
Yeah.
And because right now they're giving like $50,000 bonuses to just enlist out of high school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like they're like
they invest in people.
Yeah. And so it's getting circulated in the right sphere right now. And she's kind of playing the backseat driver during this process. And then she like occasionally re-engages in it whenever like questions are popped up or whatever. When you have a bunch of old white men making the policies, they're not going to think about like a woman's fertility.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like most of their spouses are stay-at-home moms anyway. So like that doesn't cross their mind. And then Gab's like, oh, this is the issue. You post all these articles about women retention being so low. This is why.
Yeah.
This is what you should do. If you want to do this, if you want to keep women in and like, you know, keep your investment like still turning, then invest a little more so they can freeze their eggs and they will then be more inclined to stay in the military.
This is really cool that Gabby was able to bring this to their attention and get to the right people.
Cool. Yeah, 100%.
Is she was she like the first one to like, I don't know, get the ball rolling or?
So
I don't really know how activism in the military works.
I don't think she was the first one, but I think she was the first individual who like got it in the right circle.
Yeah.
You know, because like there's so many like levels of chains of command and all that crap. Yeah, you can have a great idea at a lower level, but like that's not going to do shit, you know, until you jump like 5 levels. Gab like developed relationships with like 4-star admirals and people who make policy and like the Secretary of the Navy, the Chief of Naval Operations, like all these like big wigs who do make the policy changes. And she's so charismatic, right? So like it's just so easy to like listen to her. So she got in the right circle.
That's great. That's great. Kudos to Gabby. And it sounds like it's on the up and it'll work out. I mean, we say that. How long does it actually take to get big policy change implemented in the Navy?
So long time, but they're starting a trial run.
Oh.
Of this exact policy. So select individuals and they're going to kind of test how retention changes with them. They're not saying like, hey, if you do this, you have to stay in. They're just like, we're giving you this option. We're going to see how you respond. And if you like decide to stay in longer or not.
Does Gabby get to take advantage of that?
I don't think so. I think it's biased.
Oh.
It'd be biased data.
Yeah, they wouldn't want the people in the trial to know that they're like testing for retention.
Yeah. So I think next year, and like if people are listening to this and they're in the Navy, and you get selected to freeze your eggs, like, you're welcome. You know.
Yeah. And I hope you stick around as well, so that way the trial goes well.
No, I'm not gonna be like, hey, like, you need to stay in the Navy because I got out, right? Like, that's super critical. Like, if you want to stay in the Navy, like, fuck yeah. If you're a good officer or a good, sailor, like, hell yeah, stay in the Navy. And if that works with your timeline. If you want to freeze your eggs and then stay in the Navy doesn't work with your timeline, then like, you fucking earn that shit, like, girl. Like, fucking do it. Because you deployed, you did a bunch of bullshit, like you served your country, like you earned a $20,000 like freezing your eggs deal while you like continue the rest of your life. No questions asked.
Yeah, we love that. What a feminist.
We love that. All right, little sister.
I gotta let you go. It's late for me. You have a whole day ahead of you. All right, love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.